people are fed up with this defund the police movement. America is fed up with lawlessness that they see, the chaos, the anarchy, the loss of law and order. And they see this situation as one, police have been defunded, they've been demoralized, they're not there. Who comes in to help? A Marine who was coming from his class. I interviewed his lawyer. He's studying to be an architect. He's not there to do anything other than, ride the train to go to the gym, as I understand it. And so America's looking at this and saying, when these mentally ill all over the country, but especially in big cities, are there to harass, injure, and worse, who's going to be there to protect us?
That's right. Who is there to protect us? There are some cases that take on a life of their own. They become emblematic of a situation in a city. Marine veteran Daniel Penny is precisely that, with what happened in the subway where he subdued Jordan Neely, and tragically Jordan Neely died. We're now hearing for the first time from Daniel Penny himself. And the cover of the New York Times this morning says, New York Post. Nothing about race, because the left immediately, as you both know, jumped to the race of the perpetrator and the race of Daniel Penny. He says, this is what he said to the New York Post. He said, this had nothing to do with race. I judge a person based on their character. I'm not a white supremacist. I mean, it's a little bit comical. Everybody who's ever met me can tell you I love all people, I love all cultures. You can tell by my past and all my travels and adventures around the world. I was actually planning a road trip through Africa before this happened. So, guys, we finally hear from him.
Yeah, it's really great to hear from him. And the story in the New York Post is interesting. You get a little more background about, where he was raised. His parents were divorced. And he said from the divorce, he and his three sisters became really, really close. And I think that to me, that stuck out for me, because this is a guy who takes care of his sisters, who's a Marine, who defends, our country. And so he has that sort of personality and that trait. And he's on this train and he sees somebody. He didn't know this, but Jordan Neely was arrested 42 times. This isn't somebody who just had a one-off episode. Here he talks about the kind of threat he felt on the train. He said this was different. Because remember, he has ridden on this train often, as Judge Janine said. He goes to the gym. He rides that train for the gym and to go to class. He said this time it was much different. I can tell you that the threats, the menacing, the terror that Jordan Neely introduced to that train has already been well documented. I don't think it's going to be even controverted. There are numerous witnesses from all different walks of life who have absolutely no motive to do anything other than to recount what actually happened. They are uniform in their recollection of the events. I'm deeply saddened by the loss of life. It's tragic what happened to him. Hopefully we can change the system that so desperately failed us, which was an interesting way to, it didn't just fail. We talk a lot about the failures of mental health care for Jordan Neely, but the system also failed all the people who were trapped on that train with him and left to this young man to defend them.
It's interesting that Daniel Penny has chosen now to speak out and to share his story and to begin to give you some insight into who he is. I've wanted to hear from Daniel Penny for quite some time. I've understood why he's chosen not to speak out in public. This is after the funeral earlier this week of Jordan Neely. And it's interesting that Penny has chosen to share his story. I can't wait. I think that it's of paramount importance, of course, to hear from Penny, but those other people that rode the train that day that he references that in that quote that you just read, Rachel, that they will be uniform in their testimony, that they were terrified, that they were menaced on the subway. It will be very fascinating to hear from those other witnesses.
Yes.
No doubt. And when this first broke, Will, you keyed in on something he put front and center as well. As a frequent rider of the subway, this was different. This time was different.
You were the one who said that.
Will made that point, and it's true, because if you're new to the subway, everything might look like a threat. But if you've ridden it a lot, you realize when an instance is different. And you hear a lot of confidence in what he had to do in that moment. And I look forward to hearing, I'm sure we will, from those fellow travelers on the train, what indeed did happen, how did it escalate, and
It's such a great point, because when you live in New York City, you see so much weird stuff. And then when you're not from New York City, like I was talking to you the other day about, we stayed in the same hotel the other day. I won't say which hotel, but anyway, I saw something in the lobby and everyone just acted so normal, right? Because New Yorkers are used to, people just having outbursts and they just kind of act normal. That people were just walking across, going to get a drink as somebody was freaking out. It looked like an episode, a drug episode. And that's kind of normal in New York City. But it's interesting. You were one of the first people to bring that up. Well, he's ridden that train a lot. He's from Queens, I believe, correct?
Lives in Queens.
Lives in Queens. He's seen a lot. This time must have felt different to him.
Yeah, and here's why I'm happy to hear from Daniel Penny and why I want to hear from witnesses. Everything that we've heard, quite honestly, including our own commentary on this, is all through the prism of people who've seen a video, people who have seen this secondhand. And that narrative that this is driven by race has been driven by people who do not know what happened on that train. And so when we hear directly from the people that were involved, we get actual testimony. And you don't have to go back very far in the news cycle to understand the limitations of watching a video. We see video and we think, wow, we're essentially passengers on that train as well. No, you're passengers into a moment of time. Just like when it comes to that city bike rental.
Just like the nurse, yeah.
Like the nurse.
Bike.
You saw a clip in a moment of time. Now we get to hear what happened in reality.